Hello and welcome. Tonight, electoral umpire, top security hierarchy and other stakeholders deliberate on security at a People's Town Hall organized by Channels Television in collaboration with Kimpact Development Initiative ahead of the off-cycle election in Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi states. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun deploys more security equipment to Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi states ahead of the governorship election in the three states. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Cardozo, reiterates that the central bank will focus mainly on its core mandate of price stability. And U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken meets with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas amid escalating violence in the West Bank. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, says the Commissioner of Police in Imo State, Stephen Olanrewaju, will be redeployed before the election to prove the force's neutrality. Now, the Nigeria Labour Congress, the NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, the TUC, had accused the Commissioner of Police of being complicit in the recent attack on NLC President Joe Ajaero in Owerri, the Imo State capital, last week. The police boss, speaking during a People's Town Hall on election security today, however, says the redeployment has nothing to do with the allegations from the Labour leaders, but a way of demonstrating the force's neutrality.
We are that there have been allegations on the social media against the Commissioner of Police in Imo. But for this election, we are changing the Commissioner of Police. The fact that we are changing him may not be because he has been found guilty of those allegations, but for neutrality's sake, we are changing him for this election. So he's not going to be there for this election.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that, Mr. IG.
In a related development, the IGP also assured Nigerians that the police is ready for the off-cycle season or the off-season elections in Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi states.
The fact that this election is an off-cycle election gives the police and other security agencies a big advantage in terms of deployment of manpower and logistics for this election. We have a large pool of resources to draw from with respect to providing security for this election. For the fact that the election is taking place in only 3 states. The other 33 states and the FCT are there for us. We can draw resources from these other states to support the security of this election in those 3 states. We are ready for this election. We have been able to deploy adequately for this election. In Bayelsa, we will be covering 2,224 polling units. And we have enough men and resources to cover those polling units. We have also made adequate arrangements. The same arrangement has been made for both Imo and Kogi. We have done our threat assessment and we already know how to carry out our deployment, which we have already done. We are doing our deployment in stages. We have started. By Friday, we will complete our deployment.
Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the distribution of additional 220 operational vehicles to the 3 states. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Muyiwa Adejobi, said the operational and logistics vehicles are meant to help the police achieve smooth electioneering processes in the 3 states. The statement also says the police boss is calling on all stakeholders in the 3 states to embrace peace, uphold the sanctity of the rule of law, and be law-abiding in their endeavors before, during, and even after the elections, as the police and other security agencies have been placed on alert to avert any unruly act capable of disrupting the elections in any of the states. According to the Force PRO, the IGP had earlier organized trainings for the police officers who are involved in election security management for the forthcoming elections, and even sought the approval of the federal government for the payment of their allowances and other necessary support to boost the morale of the officers during the operations. To electioneering campaigns, and the senator representing Kogi Central, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, has endorsed the PDP governorship candidate in Kogi State, Mr. Dino Melaye. Senator Akpoti Uduaghan, who gave the endorsement when she joined the PDP campaign rally in Adavieba local government area of the state, also called on the residents to vote for the party in the November 11th election.
It is the homecoming of the newly sworn-in federal lawmaker representing Kogi Central Senatorial Zone, Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan. She's in the company of the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Dino Melaye, at the party's campaign in Adavieba local government area in Kogi Central. The campaign trail makes its first stop at the palace of the late Ohinoyi of Ebira land to pay respect to the late traditional ruler. Later, at the campaign ground, the party makes a case for the people to vote for their governorship candidate.
PDP is not a problem party. Nobody will cause any problem by the grace of God. I am telling you that our party is a peaceful party. On 11th of November, once you go to the polling unit, PDP, 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 PDP.
Next is the residence of the lawmaker, where she hands over the party's flag to the PDP candidate. She reiterates her support for the party's candidate for the governorship election.
We are supporting our brothers and sisters from the western part, that's Kogi Central. So we are going to vote PDP and vote Senator Dino Melaye and his able deputy, Haja Habiba. So that this duo can represent us and take Kogi State out of this poverty and mishap into progressiveness and social justice.
The party is counting down to election day and hopes to take the campaign to more communities in the state.
Staying in Kogi State, the governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Mr. Leke Abejide, has concluded his campaign with a Thanksgiving service. Mr. Abejide says it is imperative to offer thanksgiving to God after a successful and hitch-free campaign in all the 21 local government areas of the state.
It is a moment of singing and dancing for the governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress, Mr. Leke Abejide, and his campaign team for its statewide campaign, Devoid of Violence. The campaign team first visited the Living Faith Church in Lokoja, where the resident pastor prayed for them and the peaceful election.
And therefore today, as a church, we declare the ADC governorship candidate blessed. We declare your heart desire blessed. No one enter into any competition with the intention to lose. God of heaven will back up your intention.
At the Evangelical Church Winning All and the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and urge him to continue his good works.
Your antecedents and unprecedented achievements speak volume in your legislative role to Kogi State. You have demonstrated to us a true servant leader, and your legacy will undoubtedly endure for generations to come.
The candidate urges the people to vote for a candidate who has been able to manage his home successfully.
And if you look at me, all those candidates that have come, have you seen anyone with their wife? Have they come with their wife? Some of them are just church goers. They don't have wife. And if you cannot manage your home, you cannot manage the state. Anywhere I went to in this state, my wife was with me. The wife of the deputy was with him. I want to show that I'm a good example of a Christian.
After a tour of the 21 local government areas in the state, the party plans to hold a mega rally in Lokoja, the state capital, ahead of the election.
And still from Kogi State, the Action Alliance governorship candidate, Mr. Olayinka Brahma, is calling on the electorate to vote him into office as the next governor of the state. He made the appeal at the Maiden Ijumu Cultural Festival in Ijumu local government area of the state. He explains that his agenda, which is tagged STAT, is aimed at rebuilding the state for the good of the common man.
Iyara, the traditional headquarters of Ijumu local government area, is hosting the Maiden Ijumu Cultural Festival with sons and daughters of Okun tribe celebrating their culture. The governorship candidate of the Action Alliance joins the traditional rulers for the grand reception. The candidate pays homage to the Olu of Ijumu and the Olofa of Ofa. His message is clear as he seeks the support of the people to develop the state.
I commend the Olu Ijumu for this initiative because this is part of tourism. And this is a mighty one, and I believe the other ones is going to be bigger and better. Because this is a part of the things that will help to activate and transform our economy. Because if you drive in traffic, when it drives in traffic, it means it will drive in money into our economy.
The Olu of Ijumu speaks in his local dialect, calling on the people to vote for the AA candidate to the delight of Mr. Brahma.
And another time beckons on us on this Saturday for us to make another community decision as to where we'll go in the next 4 years. What will happen to our people that we claim we love? What will happen to our communities and the unity in the midst of abject poverty? It is extremely difficult to foster unity. And trust me, you have my support. God bless you. While I count on your support coming Saturday, level.
From Ijumu, the campaign train holds a town hall meeting with some party members in the area.
And we now know that in Kogi State we don't have business with poverty. I will pray the Lord will bring us out of poverty through him. So come November 11, we are going to play our part by making sure that we vote for him.
The agenda of the AA governorship candidate is anchored on solid minerals development, tourism, agriculture and trade. The candidate believes his agenda resonates with the needs of the people in the state.
In part two, after the break, what are the key numbers and talking points in the forthcoming off-season governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi states? Channels Television's data analyst Babajide Ogusol has some data to put things in perspective. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Electoral umpire, top security hierarchy and other stakeholders deliberate on security at a People's Town Hall as the Inspector General of Police says the Commissioner of Police in Imo State will be redeployed before Saturday's election to demonstrate the neutrality of the police. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun deploys more security equipment to Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi State ahead of the governorship election in the three states. We're still talking politics, and this time in Imo State, where Governor Hope Uzodinma, who's seeking re-election, has asked residents of the state not to allow the security challenges in that state discourage them from coming out to vote during the governorship election on Saturday. Governor Uzodinma, who was speaking during a campaign rally in Mbise local government area, says he's confident of winning the November 11th election because of his performance over the past 3.5 years of being governor.
With just days to go for the Imo State governorship election, the governor and the flag bearer of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Hope Uzodimma, is still crisscrossing the state, wooing voters. The supporters of the governor come out in their numbers to receive him at Aforu community in Ahiazu Mbise local government area of the state. The governor is present with his wife and his running mate, Mrs. Chinyere Ekomaru.
We are very proud to stand with you on this mandate. Let us go with a man who can go for us.
Governor Uzodimma assures residents and supporters here of delivering more dividends of democracy, regardless of how much has been done so far.
I have listened and heard the cries of our people about Branch Road. I have seen the road. I have seen the road leading to this local government. I have seen how the school of midwifery was abandoned. I have seen the schools begging for attention. If you give me your vote, I will solve all these problems.
From here, the train moves to Ngokbala to woo more supporters. His remark is to fulfill all campaign promises and complete all ongoing projects.
Our aircraft will soon be on auto cruise. We will bring development. Even though I know that you have decided to support me, I will not take your support for granted. I have come to assure you that all the ongoing projects in this area will be completed by administration.
There are promises of support for Governor Uzodimma.
You win in Ngobala. You have support in Ngobala. You are sure of victory. And I think the turnout today, which is spontaneous, which is natural, which is not hired, is a true reflection of what will happen. It's a prediction of what will happen on November 11. We are quite comfortable. We are quite confident that we are going to stand behind the governor on November 11.
Beyond this large turnout to show support, the All Progressives Congress is confident that this will converge to votes come Saturday, November 11, 2023.
Former President of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, has inaugurated a section of the Yenegua-Oporoma-Ukwebi Road. And the road, which is 10.75 kilometers long, includes a 150 meters bridge executed by the Governor Doyediri administration. While speaking at the project commissioning, Chief Obasanjo acknowledged Governor Diri's developmental strides in a difficult terrain like Bayelsa State.
In a vibrant and carnival-like atmosphere in Yenegua, Kogi Senatorial Zone, the event brings joy and excitement to the people of this area. The celebration underscores the importance of this newly constructed road in these communities. Indeed, a series of commissioning of projects executed by Governor Doyediri-led administration is taking place as a campaign trail for the People's Democratic Party in the November 11 governorship goes round the communities. The State Commissioner for Works says the Igebiri-Agiama section of the road measures 10.75 kilometers with the completion of 2 bridges as well as 533-meter road single carriageway to Agiama community.
This is Igebiri to Agiama section of the Yenegua-Oporoma-Ukwebi Road, with a spur to Agiama town, being commissioned today, measures approximately 10.75 kilometers in length, with a width of 3.7 meters and 2.3 meters soldier on either sides of the driveway. Completed also is a 40-meter bridge at Igebiri and 150-meter bridge at Agwobri with varied sizes of box culverts at different locations.
Distinguished Senator.
Governor Diri notes the importance of unity and inclusivity in the progress of Bayelsa, calling on all residents to work together for a common goal. He also explains the significance of the road project.
The important thing today is that we are equally constructing the bridge whose foundation was laid by the immediate past Vice President of this country, Professor Yemi Osibanjo. And that work is at advanced stage, where we will drive very soon to the headquarters of Southern Ijaw local government area. And so our policy of opening up our communities still stands, and we will experience more of it in our second tenure.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is the guest of honor. He says he believes in Governor Diri's leadership and the need for continuity in the state.
And Governor, you didn't stop where you stopped. You continued. The importance of continuity. That is what makes difference between development and lack of development. There must be cumulative building.
Perhaps the presence of the former president could serve as a powerful endorsement of Governor Diri's candidacy, but the voters will ultimately decide where the pendulum would sway on November the 11th, 2023.
The governorship election in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa State is not only a search for who will govern these states for the next 4 years, it is another test of the progress the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has made since the elections that held earlier this year. Tonight, our focus is on the factors that are likely to influence the events of the next 5 days. Babajide Ogunsanwo, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data consultant, is right here to share insights on this. Babajide, it's great to have you again on the News at 10.
Good evening, Ayotunde.
All right, so we're looking at the elections, the off-cycle elections billed for this Saturday, Kogi, Bayelsa, and of course, Imo states. Of course, they won't be just at the polls to elect their leaders, but for another 4 years. But you know, like we already know, it's something that the people are now looking forward to. A whole lot of expectations and all whatnot. But tell us about the profile of these voters who will be going out to the polls. Are they different from the ones that we saw earlier in the general elections, earlier in the year?
There are several ways we could look at the profile of these voters. Perhaps there are three key ways I'd like us to focus on. The first is to take a look at what you've asked about. Are these voters significantly different from those that voted earlier in the year? And if we take a look at the difference based on what happened in terms of those that had collected their permanent voter cards during the elections earlier in the year and the results of those that have collected their permanent voter cards for this election, what we see is that there's no significant difference. In summary, let's look at Kogi State. 1.81 million persons had collected, voters had collected their PVCs when the presidential and national assembly elections held. That has changed by only 1%. Same thing, Bayelsa. Earlier in the year, 1 million, just an additional, less than 8,000 additional persons have collected their PVCs, just a growth of 1% compared to earlier in the year. And in Imo State, 2.2 million persons had collected their PVCs when the elections were held earlier in the year. We've seen that grown by about 2%. The summary is approximately the same profile of persons that voted when the presidential and national assembly elections were held will be the same persons that would make their choice about who will govern them for the next 4 years.
Which is quite remarkable.
Yes, it is. But the question is, you will probably be wondering, why are the numbers significantly changing? And the report from INEC shows that for every 10 persons that have registered in each of these states, 9 have already picked up their PVCs. So what INEC is saying is the reason why the numbers are not significantly growing is because majority have picked up their PVCs. Now, it's a different question if people will use their PVCs, and I'm sure we'll get into that later. So that's the first set of numbers that are interesting. The second out of 3 key numbers, Ayotunde, is that, yes, it's governorship elections, but these elections are like student union elections, because based on the profile of persons that have collected their permanent voter cards in each of these states, INEC says majority of them are students. So this election would largely be influenced by how students are thinking.
Predominantly the youth.
Predominantly the youth between the age of 18 to 34. Now, another interesting fact is, we remember when the governorship elections were held earlier in this year. There were 11 states that their governors were up for re-election. In the south, we remember Lagos, Ogun, Oyo. In the northeast, we remember it was Borno, Adamawa, Yobe, Bauchi, Gombe. In the north central, Kwara, Nasarawa. And the northeast, it was Zamfara. Out of these 11 states, only one returning governor lost re-election. Now we have 2 out of these 3 states where the governors are up for re-election, Imo and Bayelsa. If we go by what happened earlier in the year, then these governors have about a 90% chance of coming back, if we just look at that key indicator.
All right, so I really have to speed up on this, because I want to talk about the issue of security now, of course, which is going to play a huge role in the elections. Now, for the look of the police, I mean, for what we are going to be expecting from them, what are the facts? Has security really improved going into this election?
Now, going into this election, if we look at the surveys, yes, the survey shows that security and the perception of security has improved compared to where it was 4 years ago. Let's take a look at the surveys and how citizens were feeling about election security in the last 4 years. 2019, when persons were asked, do they feel safe to vote? Bayelsa, 34%. Now we've seen the military improve those numbers, especially within the last 4 months. When these polls were done within the last 2 weeks, 41% say they feel safe. In Kogi 4 years ago, 35% of those that were polled said they feel safe. We see again a bit of security perception improvement, 38%, and in Imo, that has also improved from 28% to 33%. So the numbers look good for security, and of course, if we look at the fears of what persons have on, will this election be over-militarized? And the answer to that is, there's no such thing as an over-secured election. Remember for those that read the Bible, if I'm right, Luke chapter 15, verse 7, it says, for there's more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner that repents, over 99 that need no repentance. So there will be more joy in Nigeria over one life that is protected than over 99 lives that perhaps will need no protection. So there's no price too much to be paid for securing an election. And yes, let's take a look at what even the military leaders have said regarding what you should expect on this election, and that is, for those that want peaceful elections, they will get peaceful elections, but for those who intend to run away with the ballot box, they will be running towards the cemetery.
All right, we'll definitely leave it at that. Babajide Ogunsanwo, thank you for your thoughts again on the News at 10.
During the week, there's lots of analysis to come on this.
It will definitely be here to take a look at each and every one as it unfolds, and definitely thank you once again.
The pleasure is all mine.
Still ahead on the News at 10. Our chairman, Channels Media Group, Dr. John Momo, bags another doctorate degree in media and communications. Please join us again. Welcome back. The Central Bank Governor, Yemi Cardozo, says the Apex Bank under his leadership will concentrate mainly on the core mandate of attaining price stability. Mr. Cardozo stated this when he played host to the chairman and members of the Impact Investing Community in his office in Abuja. The team was led by the 14th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, who is also a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. During the meeting, Mr. Cardozo emphasized his resolve to change public perception about the bank and make it more impactful in the lives of Nigerians by reducing inflation. The CBN governor assured the community that the bank will collaborate with them in putting in place frameworks that will encourage investments that will enhance people's livelihood and contribute to economic growth. Commended the impact of the CBN on the lives of Nigerians, Alhaji Sanusi urged the new leadership of the Apex Bank to work persistently at driving down the inflation rate, which he noted had severely impacted the wealth of individuals. President Bola Tinubu is scheduled to leave for Riyadh in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia over the next few days in what has been termed an aggressive push to promote Nigeria and attract foreign direct investment. The special advisor on media and publicity to the president, Ajuri Ngalale, who briefed State House correspondents at the presidential villa, said the president will be attending the Saudi Africa Summit and the Arab African Summit, which are scheduled to hold on the 10th and 11th of this month. According to the presidential spokesman, President Tinubu while in Saudi Arabia, will discuss several issues of mutual concern bordering on counterterrorism, the environment, and agriculture.
Several areas of mutual concern will be addressed with respect to the economic ties between the regions, with respect to the issues of counterterrorism, the environment, agriculture, and many other areas of mutual concern where we feel much more can be done in terms of accelerating the level of trade and investment between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the African continent. Obviously, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very keen on ensuring that the Federal Republic of Nigeria, within the context of the continent, is in a position to maximally leverage on opportunities that will be afforded by the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. His Excellency, Mr. President, is going to be very aggressive, as always, in his promotion and pursuit of new foreign direct investment. It's no secret what he's been doing around the world since he assumed office. That will continue in Riyadh. We will be meeting with investors across sectors. We will be pushing very proactively for new inflows of foreign exchange into the Nigerian economy through investments in really growth-enabling and labor-intensive sectors of the economy.
Chairman of Channels Media Group, Dr. John Momoh, has added another feather to his cap. Dr. Momoh has been awarded an honorary doctorate degree in media by Bowen University in Iwo, Osun State. The conferment of the award formed part of activities marking the university's 18th convocation ceremony.
This is the edifice housing the Senate of Bowen University, Iwo, in Osun State. Close to this building is the University Chapel, where the graduating students of the 2022-2023 academic session march in to take their seats, awaiting the commencement of the 18th convocation. Shortly after that, the chairman, Channels Media Group, Dr. John Momoh, and his entourage arrive to take their place in the hall as well. The 18th convocation begins with the entrance of the academic procession led by the Chancellor, the Pro-Chancellor, as well as the Vice-Chancellor, with other top administrative and academic staff of the university also joining them. The Oluwo of Iwo land, Oba Abdulrasheed Adekombi, also graces the occasion with his royal presence, just as parents, relatives and friends of the graduates join in the celebration. The university's Chancellor and the Pro-Chancellor take their turn to address the gathering.
You have been shown the path of righteousness and truth through our chapel services and various other platforms. I implore you to be good ambassadors of your alma mater and to embody the virtue of godliness, excellence, and leadership that you have been implanted with.
I want to remind you that you are now going into the world out there, the world littered with predators of diverse species. But thank God you attended a university that has equipped you, body, soul, mind, and spirit, to face the world. You have been equipped constantly by biblical teachings and our constant emphasis on our core values.
Next, the Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Jonathan Babalola, congratulates the graduates for achieving success in their academic pursuits, adding that the institution will continue to prioritize character development, the promotion of academic and leadership excellence amongst its students.
When I assumed office as the 5th Vice-Chancellor, I came armed with a clear vision of making Daniels for our generation. This vision is not just a personal aspiration, but a defined call, a mission that aligns with the founding principles of the institution. The making of Daniels for our generation represents the commitment to raise individuals who are not only rooted in faith, but also equipped to excel in various spheres of life.
Then comes the big moment, when the chairman of Channels Media Group, Dr. John Momo, is conferred with an honorary degree of Doctor of Media by the university. After that, he addresses the convocation, expressing his gratitude to God and Bowen University management for the honor done him.
I'm deeply honored and humbled to stand before you today to accept this prestigious honorary degree of Doctor of Media, honoris causa. This moment is a testament to the incredible journey that my career has taken me on. And I am profoundly grateful to God and grateful to this esteemed institution for bestowing upon me this extraordinary recognition.
There were presentations to the best graduating students as well.
I desire to be the best graduate student. So there's this quote that is so profound to me, that dream God can found it. So I had my intention, I want to be the best graduate student. The moment I became a Bowenite, that was the goal. And I was always aiming for 5.0 in every semester, and also placing it in the hands of God for his help, being intentional about God's help, but having that goal in mind in every semester. So that was basically having it as a goal and working towards it.
In all, 834 students graduated from Bowen University during the 2022-2023 academic session, with 730 of them in the undergraduate category, 65 for unclassified MPBS, and 39 for the postgraduate degrees.
Indeed, a very big congratulations to the chairman of Channels Media Group, Dr. John Momo, for that honorary doctorate degree. Road users are advised to cooperate with traffic management officers as the comprehensive repair of the 3rd Mainland Bridge begins tomorrow, Monday, that's November the 6th. The Controller Works, Federal Ministry of Works, Lagos State, Olukorede Keisha, said this while addressing the media on plans to ensure successful execution of the 3rd Mainland Bridge project. She says the work, which is expected to be in phases, will begin with the closure of the Adekunle ramps, a reason motorists are asked to seek alternative routes.
We're saying that if you're coming from Lagos, Ibadan, coming from Ogudu, coming from Toll Gate, and you're going to Adekunle, and you want to use 3rd Mainland Bridge, by tomorrow 9 a.m., you will not be able to do that. So you have to use the alternatives that have been provided, like Ojota and Bagada. So you have to ram down Bagada and Ojota before you get here. Otherwise, you'll be heading straight to the island. And if you're coming from the island, you can go straight. If you're heading towards Yanoworo, Toll Gate to Ibadan, the road is free for you. The main brick deck will not be closed tomorrow. It is just the access ramp to Adekunle that will be closed. So what it means in summary is that the 2 ramps that take traffic from 3rd Mainland Bridge into Adekunle will be closed by tomorrow for the next few weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Thereafter, the ramps coming out of Adekunle into Lagos Island and Oworo to Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will be closed. So in summary, those 4 ramps now will be closed for about 5 weeks. But for tomorrow, the one we want to start with is a ramp descending Adekunle from 3rd Mainland Bridge. So if you have business to do around the Ebute Metta, 3rd Mainland Bridge is not for you going forward from tomorrow.
Still in Lagos, the state governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has inaugurated the Oyingbo flyover designed to separate vehicular movement from the Red Line rail track. Governor Sanwo-Olu, speaking at the ceremony, says the 37-kilometer Red Line is expected to move than 1 million passengers daily when fully operational. He also says the Oyingbo Bridge will reduce the pain of the 3rd Mainland Bridge, which begins tomorrow, November the 6th. The Oyingbo overpass is the second road infrastructure unveiled for the Red Line Rail project that will separate vehicular and train movement in Oyingbo area of Lagos mainland. The inauguration of the project has brought together dignitaries from the state and beyond. These include the governor of Ekiti State, Abiodun Oyebanji, who is the special guest for the day. The project is a T-bridge design linking Lagos Island to reduce traffic. The managing director of Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Lamata, says the state will share tracks with the Nigerian Railway Corporation for easy movement.
We will share tracks with the NRC from Ebute Metta to Agbado, while the federal ministry, in acknowledgement of this, provided the conducive environment for the bridges as well as our own dedicated tracks from Ebute Metta Junction to Oyingbo to be constructed.
Other state officials speak on the significance of improving transportation efficiency in the state.
The provision of this transport infrastructure is a testament to the fulfillment of the electoral promises of Mr. Governor under the first pillar of the Themes Plus development agenda, traffic management and transportation.
Your promises to the people as a politician and as the executive governor of Lagos State has come to pass. For as long as you continue to do what is right to the people and for the people, the Lagos State House of Assembly, ably led by Right Honorary Dr. Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, will continue to stand with you.
The special guest of the day, Governor Oyebanji, commends the Lagos State government for its infrastructural drive, saying new governors have 1 or 2 things to learn from the state.
My advice to Lagosians is Lagos State has become a model for transformative leadership, for reforms, for innovation, and for good governance. And when you have a system that works, you must guide it jealously.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is optimistic that the initiative will address gridlocks in the area and reduce cases of road accidents when the Red Line operation begins.
When we promise a master plan where rail, road, water, infrastructure will work together, this is a classical example of it. Here in Oyingbo, you will see that there's a bus station that is a massive bus station, and there's going to be pedestrian walk to get onto the train stations, right? So you can commute from the train stations onto the bus stations, and it will be seamless.
He also says the bridge will help ease the pain of the 3rd Mainland Bridge closure.
Strategically, we have opened an alternative for you, right? Well, we need to collaborate and work with the Federal Ministry of Works. We need to open this so that from tomorrow, you can access your offices. If you are going on the mainland, if you are going to the island, you can come from this bridge. Either you are accessing it through Kata Bridge or you are accessing it on Apapa Road to go and connect Eko Bridge.
The Oyingbo overpass is 717.5 meters long and is one of the 5 link bridges the state government is planning for to boost the operations of the Red Line Rail project. Residents of Kano are still reacting to the honest act displayed by a tricycle operator, Mr. Awalu Salisu. The 23-year-old man found some cash equivalent to 18 million naira in his borrowed tricycle and returned the money to its owners. Our correspondent, Nanshin Vincent, reports.
It was like any other day for 23-year-old Awalu Salisu, a tricycle operator who lives in Ayetasha in Yankaba, one of the poorest neighborhoods in Kano metropolis. He lives with his parents and siblings, and every morning he borrows his friend's tricycle to make ends meet for his family.
On that Wednesday, I finished my work to return my friend's tricycle when I noticed a big bag at the back of the tricycle. I opened the bag and I saw a lot of cash. I ran to my mother and he said that must be returned to the owners. I called my dad and we started tracing the businessmen from where I picked them to where I dropped them.
The test of his character came when two Chadian businessmen forgot a bag in his tricycle. The bag contains some money.
My mother said she had an announcement on the radio, and we quickly dashed to the station with the bag of money. We gave the owners, and they were very happy that we could return the money. It was their business money amounting to about 18 million naira.
Then came a radio announcement of the missing money.
Please, on Wednesday, some people forgot a sack in the tricycle. Please, if you are the one, kindly meet us in the station.
The radio station expressed shock when Salisu returned the money.
The whole of Kano was really shocked by the fact that a person, a young man from a poor family here in Kano actually found a whopping 18 million naira or even more and then return that money. To a lot of people might think that this guy, Awalu Salisu, has something going on for him. That was why he actually returned the money, but no. After probing, after talking to this young man, he had nothing.
Though his parents do not have the means, they are pleased with his act of honesty.
I am glad that we returned this money. I have always taught my children to be content and fear God. Although we had nothing to eat that night, I am happy that God has smiled on us for Salisu's display of honesty.
God brought this trial our way. My son has always been a truthful child, and we're grateful for everything.
Awalu Salisu's life is experiencing a turnaround as a lot of people have given him diverse rewards, including free education, cash donations, and a free tricycle, amongst others. Surely, honesty pays. From Kano Commercial City, Nanchin Vincent, Channels Television News.
Time now for some sports news. Nigeria Premier Football League Match Day 7 played this evening across the country recorded 17 goals and 1 away victory. At the Pantami Stadium, Doma United beat host Gombe United in Gombe Derby to record their second win of the season. In Benin City, Bendel Insurance beat Remo Stars by a lone goal, with Ismail Sarki scoring the only goal for the Benin Arsenal. Enugu Rangers reclaimed top spot on the league table after defeating Heartland in the Oriental Derby at the Awka City Stadium. In other games, Sunshine Stars forced host Rivers United to a 1-1 draw. Shooting Stars recorded the biggest win of the day, thrashing Niger Tornadoes by 4-1. In England, Colombian international Luis Diaz scored on his return for Liverpool FC for the first time today since his parents were kidnapped by a guerrilla group in his homeland on October the 28th. Diaz headed in a stoppage-time equaliser to prevent Liverpool suffering a shock defeat at Luton in a 1-1 draw. Nottingham Forest stunned Aston Villa with their first English Premier League win in 7 games as Super Eagles Olaino and Oriel Mangala struck in a deserved 2-0 win. Forest climbed to 12th in the table, 8 points clear of the relegation zone. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken today met with the Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas in the occupied West Bank. Abbas is the leader of the Palestinian Authority that governs the parts of the West Bank not under Israeli control. Now, in the meantime, the Israeli military spokesman Daniel Hagari confirms that IDF forces have surrounded Gaza City, but that Israel is still allowing a corridor for the residents of the northern Gaza Strip and Gaza City to go south.
Foreign nationals said they were stuck at Gaza's Rafah border crossing on Sunday after Egypt announced the suspension of evacuations following a deadly attack on an ambulance on Friday. The evacuations had been suspended since Saturday after an Israeli strike on Friday on an ambulance in Gaza being used to transport injured people. Efforts were underway to resume evacuations of injured Gazans and foreign nationals through the Rafah crossing, which is the only exit point from Gaza not controlled by Israel.
7th of October.
On Sunday, the Palestinian Red Crescent Society released videos showing footage of heavy bombardments targeting areas surrounding Al-Quds Hospital in Gaza City and paramedics rushing to evacuate the injured. Israeli Defense Forces have accused Hamas of systematically exploiting hospitals as part of its war machine. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insists there will be no ceasefire until all of the more than 240 hostages captured by Hamas on October 7th are returned. Israel has seemingly also debunked rumors the government could consider use of nuclear bombs in the war, even suspending Heritage Minister Amichai Eliyahu for commenting that use of nuclear weapons might be justified in the war. It all comes as U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken leaves Tel Aviv as he continues a tour of the region amid spiraled tensions over Israel's war with Hamas. The situation in the Rafah crossing remains uncertain, especially for those waiting to get out of the war.
And the main news again. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, the National Security Advisor Nuri Badu, and the IGP Kayode Egbetukun and other stakeholders today discussed the security arrangements for next Saturday's off-cycle election in Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi State at the town hall, as the IGP ordered the redeployment of the Commissioner of Police in Imo State before Saturday's election to demonstrate the neutrality of the Nigeria Police. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun, and do have a good night.